me make sure the sound doesn't go.
I'm not skinny enough. I'm not smart.
Man, some people just...
Take a deep breath and remember who you are. Yeah, they're gonna mess with you, baby, you're a star. Stepping in the spotlight, you know that it feels like time to put up a fight, honey. Got nothing left to lose, so let's start right now. Everybody want a piece of you. Gotta give them what they want, it's true. You're so funny, yeah, so iconic. If you didn't know before, now you know. Now you know. Take a big step away from who you were. Flashing that smile and the whole world's a blur.
We are here live, positively powerful. Holy crap, that was in your face. Did you expect that? No, I didn't either because I didn't know it was going to do it. Scott Fitzgerald with Stacey Steinmiller
Surprised me.
at Rockvox Recording and Production in beautiful downtown Bushnell Basin. The heart of the East Side, the beating heart, the pulse.
The pulse.
Like if you want to know what's going on the East Side, just hang out down in the basin for half a day.
And you know everything.
Half a week, half a month, something like that.
Sometimes.
Pitch a tent out in the yard, and you'll eventually. Anyway, how you doing?
I'm good. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it being warmer tomorrow. But other than that.
Is that supposed to happen?
I think so.
That would be really cool.
Yeah.
I'd be down with warmth.
Yeah.
I was getting up this morning. I'm like, really? 27 or whatever it was? I'm like, come on.
I know.
Just come on.
I'm just really ready. So
Yeah,
I'm like looking at the days. I'm like, okay, good.
Yeah. And I've already decided. I'm like, oh, I haven't broken it to the staff here yet. But you know what? Starting June 1st, I'm taking Mondays off.
You are.
Taking Mondays off.
I love it.
I work
This
all
is
the
big
time.
News.
I work all the time, every day, every weekend. I never have a day off. And I said, you know what? I'm taking a freaking day off.
I'm so excited for you.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
Yes.
Doing it.
I love it.
It's not going to be easy.
I'm like, well, now that you told me it, then you'll know that I'm going to make you
Yeah, now you're going to be
stick
like,
it.
don't forget your day off. Don't you dare work.
I'll yell at you if I
Give
find
me
you working on Monday.
a lead line bag to put my devices in.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I'll come make you unplug.
Well, unplugging is kind of related to what I wanted to talk about today, because I guess that's like a habit, like always going back to your phone and stuff like that.
Yes.
And I wanted to talk to you about what I've heard as like anchor habits or core habits or some kind of a habit that you have to recenter yourself, to kind of bring you back when there's a hard day or a hard episode or something difficult coming.
Yeah.
Some people like I've done before, like you suggested, is to go out for a quick walk.
Yeah.
15-minute walk in the sunshine.
Yeah.
If it's there.
Which is why we're looking forward to
Yeah.
the weather changing.
just to kind of reset and bring yourself back to a level that you can manage.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say is one of your go-to anchor habits?
Oh, that's good. And obviously I've been writing about this a lot because I've been doing my social media free weekends and so forth. And I think that the first thing I'm doing now, it's a little bit different than I would say an anchor habit, but maybe I guess it could be, is really acknowledging my emotional state, right? Because it's usually, there's something going on, right?
Yep.
And oftentimes it's just like, oh, I don't want to feel like this. What can I do to not feel like this, right? But when we do that, we skip over actually meeting ourselves on what we're truly experiencing and what's really going on for us. So I guess I would say an intention and something I've been really conscious of making sure I'm working on so that I can better serve my clients when they're doing it, is to really take that time in that moment to name my feelings, understand the belief that's driving, that feeling. And so I can see, it's usually coming, like we talk about a lot, like a place of lack, which creates attachment, which creates control. And so by getting to understand what that core lack belief that's driving the ship is really helpful for me. And then after I do that and recognize it and notice what's going on, I can meet that with compassion, and then it's actually easier to then do the habit or something to help shift my energy, which in the summertime I do love walks and have leaned on those quite a bit, but I also find reading or listening to some of my spiritual resources, I would say, to be I would say that's probably one of my go-to things right now. It really helps shift my energy into that different perspective, but I'm making sure not to skip over that other piece first.
What's amazing to me is that you can go through that process, at any time. It sounds like you describe it. It sounds like 3 hours later you finally are ready to do your habit. But it's such a quick thing. You recognize, you do all this stuff, and then you go, oh, I'm going to do this. But it just sounds like there's this huge long process that.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be that long. That sounds very long when I describe it, but that it doesn't have to be that long, especially when you recognize, okay, what's the feeling? What's the lack belief driving this? So, okay, I've stepped out of my power, and then getting to a point of being willing to shift it, I think is helpful, and not go into the complaining route or the victimization route.
And that's so easy to do. Yeah. And for some of us, it's hard to not do.
Yeah.
Well,
that's a huge habit.
Yeah. And so, developing an anchor habit to counteract those habits is like the first step is to say, all right. And it has to be something that you can do, inside of 10 minutes, something quickly, something that's not, I got to go down to the canal and it's got to be something that you can do kind of wherever you are to bring yourself out of that panic moment or whatever that moment is and do that. Yeah. So that you can.
Right. And that's where I think first meeting the feeling, acknowledging, understanding what's driving it, and the illusion that you're buying into can be helpful, right?
Yeah, that's really important because that's what you're doing. It's what I do all the time. Is I'm buying into this false pretense, this false story that's in my head that I deep down still believe and try to fight.
Right.
No, that's not right. It's not, I am not terrible or, whatever it is,
It's like a propaganda machine in your mind or something.
Joseph Goebbels is in our heads shouting nasty things at us. It's terrible.
Yeah. So the faster you can catch it and see it for what it is, then you don't feel dependent on, I've got to do a yoga class. I've got to go for a walk. I got to do these time consuming things.
I'm going to do a 1,000-piece puzzle.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That sounds like avoidance. Well, and that's the other thing is what happens is then.
That's a good point.
Is then these habits without that step just turns into a different type of avoidance, right? So again, I've been talking a lot about social media and how we scroll and do these things to avoid our feelings and so forth. Right. But we can stop doing that and do these other things instead. But if we're still bypassing the feelings, if we're still not getting underneath what's going on, then you're just swapping one habit for another, one distraction habit for another distraction
habit. And the
avoidance,
that really resonated with me when you brought that up, because it's kind of like, I'm just doing this. I think I'm doing something to bring myself back, but actually what I'm doing is I'm avoiding dealing with whatever that issue is.
Right, because the ego's gonna like, oh, see how good I am. I'm doing my habit, right? And so then you're just still perpetuating the same problem and not addressing that inner work.
Phooey. Yeah. So, and like coming up with something that works for you and then making that like sacred, you know, it's like a non-negotiable. You have to be able to be prepared to say, you know what, this is what I have to do. And this is what's happening.
Right. Yeah. So that's about honoring yourself. Right.
Because you'll always find an excuse to be like, well, I can't really do it right now because.
Yeah. And for me, it's been learning over and over and over again that forcing myself through productivity, because that's usually what I try and do to avoid doing whatever I need that's good for me, is whatever I'm productive about in that time. That's also an illusion, right? Like, I'm only doing it so I feel productive. So it's recognizing that actually the best thing I can do for myself is to care for my immediate need instead of trying to push through and not do it, right? So like, you know, and I say for me, it tends to be productivity, right? Because that... it's the mind thinks that quells the whatever fears and lack that I'm experiencing.
Fear and lack are they're annoying. They really are, and they're with me all the time.
Yeah,
and I don't know if anybody who's watching or listening, whether live or on replay, has that consistent problem of the self-doubt, the all of these negative things come from either fear or, I mean, fear and lack are kind of the same because you're like, you fear lack.
Right, exactly. I'm going to lose something or I'm not going to get something that I want, right? And that so it can be around health, relationships, money, status, you know, all of those things.
Yeah, like I still to this day, I have trouble with the concept of manifesting you know, what I'm trying to create. It's just I have to let go of the how. And I know that there's something that we talk about all the time. But that how is always like, well, how am I going to make that happen? I don't get it. So therefore it can't happen. And it's like, no.
Yeah.
And then it comes back to faith, like having faith that, you know, this is what you want. And it's going to, as long as you do all the other things right, you know, it's just.
Yeah, so it's about coming back to your own energy and trusting your nudges and where you're being pulled. And I think one thing that helps me, and I was just talking about this last night, and I wish I could remember the sequence of events. But I love, I remember it now. I love watching the sequence of events and seeing how, because I made this decision.
Oh, yeah.
This, like, I'm here.
Yeah.
Right from this one little thing, because it's like, okay, I did this, and then I met this person, and then that led me to do this thing, and then I met this, then I'm like, whoa, like, I want to be sitting here right now, having this exact conversation, and I'm like pointing it back to this really random event. But usually those random events were me getting over myself and doing something scary or putting myself out there or following my own joy and passion and desire, right? That leads that. So I think reflecting on some of those things can be really helpful.
I really love that stuff.
Yeah.
I oftentimes will look around here and be like, I can almost trace it back to like 3 or 4 people in my life who either gave me an idea or pushed me this way or that way or introduced me to people. That's been the biggest thing for me is, and everybody knows that networking is like king when it comes to to small
Who
business.
you know, yeah.
But that the networking piece here has just been, and it always, well, not always, but oftentimes is this obscure, strange, freak thing where it's like, I met this person at Wegmans, or it's like not planned. Like, I specifically went here to meet people, and this led to that. It was like a strange, coincidental encounter that led to and I think that's like the universe is always going like,
yeah.
Guess who's in charge?
Right.
I'm in charge.
Yeah. See, just trust, and that's why it's so. The thing is, we can follow those nudges more clearly when we're not avoiding our feelings, right? So when we're present with our feelings and we feel them, move through them, and so forth, then we're connected with our passion and our joy that leads us to those experiences.
Would you say that avoidance is probably one of the biggest hurdles that people encounter in going after or achieving their goals?
Yeah. Well, because,
you're not dealing with what you need to deal to jump. It's like coming up to a hurdle and going, I'm going to tie my shoe. But that's what we do. Exactly. I love that analogy. And so if you think about it as we're just like pleasure, pain, dials. And we're constantly, we have a pleasure dial and a pain dial, and we're just doing this all the time. Right. And we're trying to up the pleasure dial and decrease the pain dial. And if you start looking at your behaviors from that framework, it starts to become really obvious. But the problem is like, all right, so we got the pleasure dial and the pain dial, and I'm turning them, and then I look and I'm like, well, how did this change to the pain dial? It was the pleasure dial, but it changed on me, and then now this one's or I look and there's two pain dials. What the frick is going on here? You have to, before you start tweaking stuff, you got to look. I mean, you know what I'm talking about.
I know. The things, I really need to work on my analogies and things. Anyways,
no, that's okay. I'll take any analogy, no matter how benign, and I will tear it up.
They always just come out. They just come into my head, and I just go with them. But then it's really recognizing, going beyond that, like seeing that as a surface way of living, and I guess, awakening or, so forth, is about coming out of that framework and habit and so forth, so that you can move into trust, move into recognizing your abilities and inner power and guidance, and moving into a place of abundance and out of lack and so forth, right? Because if you don't believe in lack, then there isn't a pleasure pain dial, right? If you know everything's always serving you, you don't need to be tweaking that.
Is it actually possible to not believe in lack? It seems like it seems so difficult, but I guess it's possible. I guess you can convince yourself of anything, but well,
it's not about convincing yourself; it's about experiencing it, right? So when you experience, an expansive feeling of peace and joy and oneness and so forth, and recognizing that's your true nature, and that's always there and available. If we get out of the mind, that's usually is telling a story about lack, right? Yeah.
I think about that stuff, and it's exciting to me to think that existence could be possible.
Which is great, because then that gets the human to be like, oh, I want to keep exploring this idea. I want to move towards that, which, ultimately leads in growth in that area.
Do you know what I find is that, and I don't know if other people feel this way too, but I feel like a lot of times I don't know where to start. Like, so for me, I have to, when I'm operating at the best level, at peak performance for me, everything is organized and in its place, and I'm not surrounded by any chaos.
Yeah.
And chaos meaning messy things.
Yeah. Disorganization.
Disorganization, all that kind of stuff. And I find myself around that all the time. And going back to avoidance, I will find other things to do that I need to do. It's not like I'm doing things I don't need to do. Well, sometimes I do that too, but I'll go and do those things because I really just don't feel like going in and cleaning up that mess.
Right.
Or if I clean up that mess, I actually have to clean up that mess first because that stuff needs to go in there. And then that stuff needs to go in there. And then I get all like, I don't know where to start. And it happens with feelings too.
Right. Well, usually those things are, it's bringing up overwhelm because there's some sort of negative belief here. Because then you have to face that pile brings up beliefs about yourself. I'm disorganized, or now I got to sign into my bank account that I don't feel good about because I'm going through these papers, or now I have to call that person.
There's not enough time in the day. There's not enough time in the day.
Time, right. There's always going to be something that comes up in your mind, and that's what you're avoiding, right? You're avoiding the feelings associated with that story that you're in beliefs. But then by doing that or doing the thing, you face the story, you face the beliefs, and overcome them. and that's the idea. But yeah, it's an emotional avoidance. I think everything we avoid is emotional root.
I like this text. Just change topic a little bit.
Okay, good.
I got a text. It says, there seems to be a better rate for your 2006 Chrysler Town on, let me quote, let's see, 2006 Chrysler Town and Country. So we got rid of that in 2010.
Oh my God, you're still getting...
I'm getting so many of these ridiculous texts. Do you ever get the ones that are like, hey, what are you doing late? Or what are you doing later? Or are you still swinging by for dinner?
Yeah, I think, I get like, how have you been? Or I got one recently. Hey, and something like, acting like I just delete everything. And
so, it's not bad enough that we are dealing with everything that we're dealing with in our world, and we're trying to better ourselves, and we're trying to accomplish goals. And then we've got all of these different, things coming at us, these different stimuli, and you look and you're like, and then you get a text it's like, really, come on. It's like that constant little mosquito that's around your ear that you swat or just don't go away.
Wait, so I guess then I'd be like, okay, well, why is that bothersome?
It's annoying. So what do you just say? Whatever.
I like those things. So I pay no attention to them. I just delete them right away. And I don't worry, was this important? Because I guess if I accidentally delete something that was important, that person will come find me. I'm not that hard to find,
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's helpful to recognize like what is bothering us, why, like what is that about? Because then there's it's wasting my time, which then puts you out of in a powerless position that you're not in charge of your time. Well, why aren't you in charge of your time? What's that about?
Well, like I'll go, like delete and mark as spam or whatever, and then I'll go down a rabbit hole trying to figure out how I can stop these things from coming through all the time. and that's why I don't have any time.
Right? Yeah.
I'm constantly messing around with this kind of BS. Look, 2 of them. Part-time remote opportunity available. Where? My number must be on some ridiculous. Oh my God.
So is mine. I've been in business for how long? I've had the same number my whole life. Like, I get a lot of spam.
You had the same number your whole life?
Since when I got a phone when I was 18.
Really?
And I got to pick my phone number.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Let's see, when did I have? I think I've had this phone number since we first moved
to New York.
Yeah, maybe. I don't remember now.
Yeah.
We moved back and forth so many times. I moved up in 2001, moved back to Florida in 2002, moved back up here in 2003, moved back to Florida in 2004, and then we finally moved up here to stay in 2007.
Oh, wow.
It's like a ridiculous, like huge ping pong game across the country. Oh,
At least you're in the same time zone.
yeah, that's good, right? And each time my family was gracious enough to help us with the move. So we'd pack up the big U-Haul and get one of our cars on a big trailer, and we'd all drive up in a caravan. And I think the last time they're like, we're not doing it again. Dude, we're not doing it again. You're done. If you move
Make up
again,
your
you're on
mind.
your own.
Yeah.
And I said, that's fair. That's fair. So we're not coming back. I like Rochester better than I like Florida anyway.
Yeah.
Cold be damned.
And we wouldn't be
Doesn't
doing
matter.
this if you weren't here.
Right.
See
None
how
of
that-
this.
right,
None
see?
of this.
Back to that.
All back from a decision to take a job that only lasted 10 months. That's all it was a vehicle. That
Yep.
job at J Advertising was a job that got me to this town
Yeah.
and introduced me to people who I am still in contact with today, who I work with and are friends with. In that 10-month time, it's probably the biggest influence, that most influential 10 months of my life,
That's amazing.
of my professional life anyway,
Yeah.
and maybe even my personal life.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy when you think about those pivotal moments.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think reflecting on that, recognizing that you could be doing something right now that's just as pivotal and less away, right? Like in those
Yeah, you
10
never know.
months, you didn't know that was pivotal at the time, right? You didn't know that. So what are you doing now? What's happening now? What are you setting up your life for now that you don't even know is going to serve you in another year, 5 years, 10 years?
That would be awesome. I'd like 5 days. Like if it
5
could start serving me in 5 days, 5 hours.
Go for it.
But yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But
Am I being greedy?
No, it's just also trusting and then recognizing that you're not in charge of the timing of it.
That's true. That's true.
And the more you let go of the control, the faster it seems to come.
Let go of the control. It's another freaking thing that I have to remember.
Right, but control comes from attachment, and attachment comes from a belief in lack.
Okay.
Right?
So where do I start? Get rid of the belief in lack.
Yeah, and feel the sadness associated with that.
The sadness.
Yeah.
So associated with lack, with a fear of lack.
with a belief in lack, yeah.
A belief in lack. There is a lot of sadness.
Yeah.
It's kind of ridiculous.
Right, so then if you think about
It's
it.
almost crippling.
Yeah, so if you think about it, like your like energetic body is, when we're entertaining this lack belief, is just filled with like a bunch of, all this sadness, which is really heavy and, and Eeyore feeling, right? And then that's the energy that we're broadcasting out, right?
And when you feel those feelings, what do?
You release them? You feel them? What do you mean? Oh,
You
what?
could use an anchor habit.
Right.
I tied the whole
Thing
half
back.
an hour
Look at
together.
you go back.
Right back to the start at 27 minutes and 47
Look
seconds.
at that.
Look at that.
I never look at the clock.
No.
I'm always like, I
it's
wonder
usually not running.
Oh.
Well, that's not true. It's sometimes running.
I have an hour internal clock, half hour, so it's a little different.
Oh, really?
Oh,
like
yeah.
you're when an hour has passed?
I know when I've been talking to somebody for an hour. That's like my whole life, right? My whole professional life is talking to somebody for about an hour.
Yeah, that's funny.
And then you get up and then you go get the next person and you talk to them for an hour, right? So I have a very strong internal clock
that's
as
funny.
to what so
Didn't think about
if
that.
like I'm out to dinner or something, I start getting a little fidgety around the hour mark and I realize, I must have been here about an hour because I start like moving or something.
Let's just switch seats.
They're right.
And then
Yeah.
you're good.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, okay. Yeah, Stacey, you're not working.
Well, this has been fun. Talking
Yes.
about anchor habits, letting go of our fears of lack and all that kind of stuff. You can find Stacey Steinmiller at radicallifecoach.com. I almost completely forgot just in that moment. Rockvox.com. If you want to come in here, do a podcast, use these awesome studios, do some voiceover work, whatever you got, we'll talk to you about it. And we'll catch you next. Oh, and coming up, we're going to take the summer off for Positively
Yes.
Powerful. But that doesn't mean that there may be different live streams at this time slot. We'll see what
Ooh,
happens.
fancy.
It might do different weird things.
Oh, I
Well,
like
I don't know
weird
if it's
things.
weird, but
It's always going to be weird. And next week we got to start a little late too.
Oh, we got to
I have a
start
meeting
late?
until 10 next week.
Okay, so like 10,
15.
10:15ish. All right.
Yeah.
Next time on Positively Powerful. See ya.
Flashing that smile